Back to the channel. If you guys are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell. I do drop new content on this channel every single day. So with that being said, let's get right into this video. It is Tuesday, March 23rd, and I want to talk about Healthier Choices Management, ticker symbol HCMC, currently sitting at 0.0013 cents at the time of this video, down 13% today, which a lot of stocks are down today. A very, very red day. But I wanted to talk today about HCMC and their response to Philip Morris's motion to dismiss. Okay, so if you're watching this video, you probably are very familiar with HCMC and the lawsuit, the current patent infringement lawsuit that they have with Philip Morris. So I'm not going to waste any time talking about HCMC and the company that they are. If you are curious and new to HCMC, you can take a look at any previous video I've made regarding this company. But I wanted to specifically talk today about just give an overall breakdown of HCMC's response to Philip Morris motions to dismiss and really what it means. Before I get into it though, I do want to mention that I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. Please do your own research and invest your money before at your own risk. But also, I've always said this about HCMC, that this stock is a long-term hold. I believe it always has been a long-term hold, and I believe it to continue to be a long-term hold. So definitely, I just let you guys know that beforehand before I get into this. But let's get into it. So Reddit user Creative232, shout out to him or her. They posted the legal documents regarding the HCMC response to Philip Morris's motion to dismiss. And so yeah, shout out to them. Very, very important that they posted this. Otherwise you'd have to pay for it yourself. So let's get right into it, you guys. I want to talk about this because it's very interesting. So if you read through it, it's honestly a lot of lawyer talk and a lot of wording that a lot of people may not understand. But I've read through it word for word. And as you can see here, the introduction, Healthier Choices complaint alleges that defendants infringe either literally or under the doctrine of equivalence. Healthier Choices U.S. patent number titled Electronic Pipe and attached as Exhibit A to the third defendant's motion clearly raises a genuine dispute as to the meaning of the term combustion, and as it is used in the claims of the 170 patent. Further, defendants attempt to impermissibly rely on the FDA scientific review to advance a construction for the term combustion that is unquestionably disputed for purpose for their Rule 12b-6 motion. Specifically, defendants' reliance on the FDA's scientific review is misplaced and irrelevant to the construction for any term in the 170 patent because it is impermissible to conflate FDA's use of the term combustion with an analysis of what the term means in the context of the 170 patent. The document itself is dated years after the patent filing date and does directly or indirectly by loading combustible material into a material reservoir and initiating a combustion reaction in the combustible material reservoir. So I know this is very confusing and a lot to take in, so I just really wanted to give my opinion on what I've read regarding this document and then let you guys know how I'm feeling about the stock. So I would say that Philip Morris should have known at least one about the patents for the technology that were already established before sending the IQOS device to commercialize into the market. And then also two, if Philip Morris did know, however, and they tried to get around this, like I said, they went to Europe and got the European approval. And if they did this by going to the European and FDA routes as, I would say, like a trickery or almost like a finesse, and I think they did this, in my opinion, so HCMC would not notice, which is obviously pretty slimy if you ask me, and I think just adds to the reasoning that Philip Morris here is going to settle. Again, I'll interrupt myself that I believe Philip Morris here is going to settle, and it's looking more and more like that. Again, just my opinion. But they did this probably thinking HCMC would never notice. They went to Europe to get the approval there and thinking it would be the same thing. But they've already been kind of caught up in their, I guess, facade or lie because of the combustion levels. And so if you look at Philip Morris's patent and FDA filings, there are different numbers that come just a little differently each time and shy of acknowledgement of HCMC's technology and pretty much them knowing that it exists. And in the previous videos, I did talk about how HCMC found out when there's probably Philip Morris was probably not surprised, is what I'm saying, when HCMC found out Philip Morris stole their technology. And when HCMC did find out, obviously the patent infringement lawsuit came about. So Philip Morris, their response, motion to dismiss, and in their response, they mentioned the technology and it passes off as a quotations matter of fact. I think any law courtroom or anything in that facet will see that the tactic, and we'll see that as a possible tactic, and I don't see the judge or the courtroom granting a dismissal of this case whatsoever. A dismissal would mean Philip Morris does not have to answer the inquiry, and pretty much their motion to dismiss tactic worked, and I don't see that being the case. I think the judges will see this and they'll either give it more time or Philip Morris will just straight up settle with HCMC. It's obvious to me that, again, I'm not a lawyer or a financial advisor, but if I were representing HCMC specifically on this case, I would see the following: that Philip Morris obviously been in business 150 years and they probably have thousands of patents in their business, right? So it just doesn't make sense to me that they wouldn't do their own due diligence or their own, I guess, research on this specific patent before taking it to market, right? I think they just view HCMC as maybe a small time player and that they'll never notice this, or it just doesn't make sense to me why they didn't take the time to make sure this patent was available before they started selling. I mean, they said they sold over 14 million in dollars, or more, 14 million devices of the IQOS system in the United States. So it really seems pretty lucrative for them to not. Well, it's very lucrative, and it doesn't seem like it would have been worth it to not do the due diligence on the patent first. So also, I want to know why Philip Morris didn't seek the U.S. patent for a product that's being sold in the United States, right? So during the pretrial discovery, I think HCMC's lawyers were, I don't know if they did, but they're probably trying to figure out what sort of communications was going on in the Philip Morris boardroom or wherever they make these decisions, as to whether or not this was just a mistake that they made accidentally. They didn't know that this patent existed. They didn't do their research, or they did this just based on, hoping HCMC would never find out. And then also, with the temperature numbers, you guys, that I talked about in the previous video, which, debating the combustion temperature of the IQOS device, I don't know why in this document that's not really mentioned, and I really thought that was going to be an important part of, HCMC's claims against Philip Morris. So those will be obviously a question, or questions that Philip Morris is going to have to answer, right? They're going to have to answer the combustion levels and the combustion temperature specifically, and then they're also going to have to answer whether or not they knew or did their due diligence in regards to HCMC knowing, or to them knowing about HCMC's patent before moving this and commercializing it and selling it and taking it to market. So very, very, I think this is a great day for HCMC investors. Personally, I think this motion to dismiss and the response to the motion to dismiss just shows more and more flaws in Philip Morris's defense. I think Cozen O'Connor is doing a great job representing HCMC and the moves that they've been making as far as the legal process goes. I think when you read through this, if you guys do get a chance to read through this, you'll see that HCMC is making numerous valid points throughout this response, and I think it's only going to add to the pressure of Philip Morris having to settle with HCMC. So I do think that is coming soon. Don't want to put a timeline on it because, again, these things do take time, but just wanted to give you guys my thoughts and opinions that I think a settlement is on the way from Philip Morris to HCMC. So let me know in the comments below how you guys are feeling about this madness. It's obviously pretty crazy stuff. Very interesting. I've never really learned too much more. I've never learned more about patent infringement lawsuits than I have in regards, other than covering this case, and I feel like I've already learned a lot. So hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, you guys. Let me know in the comments below how you guys feel about HCMC, and as always, have a great day.